The time to repair the roof is when the sun is shining. Let us not seek the Republican answer or the Democratic answer, but the right answer. Let us not seek to fix the blame for the past. Let us accept our own responsibility for the future. We cannot negotiate with people who say, "What's mine is mine, and what's yours is negotiable." Without debate, without criticism, no administration and no country can succeed, and no republic can survive. Let the word go forth from this time and place to friend and foe alike, that the torch has been passed to a new generation of Americans. Born in this century, tempered by war, disciplined by a hard and bitter peace, proud of our ancient heritage, and unwilling to witness or permit the slow undoing of those human rights to which this nation has always been committed, and to which we are committed today, at home and around the world. Let every nation know, whether it wishes us well or ill, that we shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe, to assure the survival and the success of liberty. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we are willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one which we intend to win. Peace is a daily, a weekly, a monthly process, gradually changing opinions, slowly eroding old barriers, quietly building new structures. And however undramatic the pursuit of peace, that pursuit must go on. All of us have in our veins the exact same percentage of salt in our blood that exists in the ocean. And therefore, we have salt in our blood, in our sweat, in our tears. We are tied to the ocean. And when we go back to the sea, whether it is to sail or to watch it, we are going back from whence we came. If not us, who? If not now, when? A man does what he must, in spite of personal consequences, in spite of obstacles and dangers and pressures. And that is the basis of all human morality. I am an idealist without illusions. Those who dare to fail miserably can achieve greatly. Art is the great Democrat, calling forth creative genius from every sector of society, disregarding race or religion or wealth or color. For in the final analysis, our most basic common link is that we all inhabit this small planet. We all breathe the same air. We all cherish our children's futures, and we are all mortal. The ignorance of one voter in a democracy impairs the security of all. The courage of life is often a less dramatic spectacle than the courage of a final moment. But it is no less a magnificent mixture of triumph and tragedy. A child miseducated is a child lost. We need people who can dream of things that never were. The rising tide lifts all boats. I believe in an America where religious intolerance will someday end, where all men and all churches are treated as equal, where everyone has the same right to attend or not attend the church of their choice. That is the kind of America in which I believe. For this year, it may be a Catholic against whom the finger of suspicion is pointed. In other years, it has been and may someday again be a Jew, a Quaker, a Unitarian, or a Baptist. It was Virginia's harassment of Baptist preachers, for example, that helped lead to Jefferson's Statute of Religious Freedom. Today, I may be the victim, but tomorrow, it may be you. Until the whole fabric of our harmonious society is ripped at a time of great national peril. And this will not be finished in the first 100 days, nor will it be finished in the first 1,000 days, nor even, perhaps, in our lifetime on this planet. But let us begin. Those who foolishly sought power by riding the back of the tiger ended up inside. So let us not be blind to our differences, but let us also direct attention to our common interest and to the means by which those differences can be resolved. And if we cannot end now our differences, at least we can help make the world safe for diversity. When power leads a man towards arrogance, poetry reminds him of his limitations. When power narrows the area of man's concern, poetry reminds him of the richness and diversity of existence. When power corrupts, poetry cleanses. We must never forget that art is not a form of propaganda. It is a form of truth. I look forward to a future in which our country will match its military strength with our moral restraint, its wealth with our wisdom, its power with our purpose. The supreme reality of our time is the vulnerability of our planet. A boy spends his time finding a girl to sleep with. A real man spends his time looking for the one worth waking up to. Not every child has an equal talent or an equal ability or equal motivation, but they should all have the equal right to develop their talent and their ability and their motivation to make something of themselves. There is, in addition to a courage with which men die, a courage by which men must live. The most powerful single force in the world today is neither communism nor capitalism, neither the H-bomb nor the guided missile. It is man's eternal desire to be free and independent. Once you say you're going to settle for second, that's what happens to you in life, I find. The one unchangeable certainty is that nothing is certain or unchangeable. Immigration policy should be generous. It should be fair. It should be flexible. With such a policy, we can turn to the world and to our own past with clean hands and a clear conscience. Tolerance implies no lack of commitment to one's own beliefs. Rather, it condemns the oppression or persecution of others. Children are the world's most valuable resource and its best hope for the future. If an American, because his skin is dark, cannot eat lunch in a restaurant open to the public, if he cannot send his children to the best public school available, if he cannot vote for the public officials who represent him, if, in short, he cannot enjoy the full and free life which all of us want, then who among us would be content to have the color of his skin changed and stand in his place? Who among us would then be content with the counsels of patience and delay? There are costs and risks to a program of action, but they are far less than the long-range risks and costs of comfortable inaction. A nation reveals itself not only by the people it produces, but also by the people it honors, the people it remembers. I was born an American. I live like an American. I will die an American. We are not here to curse the darkness, but to light a candle that can guide us through the darkness to a safe and secure future. For the world is changing. The old era is ending. The old ways will not do. The problems are not all solved, and the battles are not all won, and we stand today on the edge of a new frontier, a frontier of unknown opportunities and perils, a frontier of unfulfilled hopes and threats. It has been a long road to this crowded convention city. Now begins another long journey, taking me into your cities and towns and homes all over America. Give me your help. Give me your hand, your voice, and your vote. A nation that is afraid to let its people judge the truth and falsehood in an open market is a nation that is afraid of its people. If more politicians knew poetry and more poets knew politics, I'm convinced the world would be a little better place in which to live. If art is to nourish the roots of our culture, society must set the artist free to follow his vision wherever it takes him. The interaction of disparate cultures, the vehemence of the ideals that led the immigrants here, the opportunity offered by a new life, all gave America a flavor and a character that make it as unmistakable, as remarkable to people today as it was to the people in the early part of the 19th century. We must face the fact that the United States is neither omnipotent nor omniscient, that we cannot impose our will upon the other 94% of humankind, that we cannot right every wrong or reverse every adversity, and that therefore there cannot be an American solution to every world problem. Whether they be young in spirit or young in age, they must never lose that youthful zest for new ideas and for a better world which has made us great. Our problems are man-made, therefore they can be solved by man, and man can be as big as he wants. No problem of human destiny is beyond human beings. Man's reason and spirit have often solved the seemingly unsolvable, and we believe they can do it again. The problems of the world cannot possibly be solved by skeptics or cynics whose horizons are limited by the obvious realities. Every inhabitant of this planet must contemplate the day when this planet may no longer be habitable. The weapons of war must be abolished before they abolish us. To those people in the huts and villages of half the globe struggling to break the bonds of mass misery, we pledge our best efforts to help them help themselves, for whatever period is required, not because the communists may be doing it, not because we seek their votes, but because it is right. If a free society cannot help the many who are poor, it cannot save the few who are rich. Just because we cannot see clearly to the end of the road, that is no reason for not setting out on the essential journey. And is not peace, in the last analysis, basically a matter of human rights? The right to live out our lives without fear of devastation. The right to breathe air as nature provided it. The right of future generations to a healthy existence. So let us begin anew, remembering on both sides that civility is not a sign of weakness, and sincerity is always subject to proof. With a good conscience, our only sure reward. With history, the final judge of our deeds, let us go forth to lead the land we love, asking His blessing and His help, but knowing that here on earth, God's work must truly be our own.